I'm not gonna lie, this is a really hard decision. I had to like actually think about these two for a good like 10 minutes. My verdict is we have 31 days until the 2023 NBA season officially begins, which I'm not gonna lie, I've been waiting for ever since the NBA Finals ended. I mean, the offseason was cool and all for like a good week, and after the Kevin Durant news basically sizzled down, there was nothing to talk about. Hence why you probably saw like one video per week on this channel. However, today we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about who is going to win the 2023 NBA regular season MVP. God damn, that was long. Look, the point is we're here to talk about who's going to win the MVP. I was going to turn this into a series, however, I thought of a new series that's going to be involving every single NBA team, with the last video coming out the regular season start date, so October 19th. And like I said, there are 31 days left, so you do the math, I can really only turn this into one video. To break this down, I have 4 players that I think could win the MVP, and at the end of this video, I'm going to be essentially ranking every single MVP candidate and who I think has the best chance to win it. Disclaimer real quick for all the Nuggets fans, I'm not putting Nikola Jokic, even though I think he could have another MVP season. There's just no way the media is going to let him win it back to back to back. Like, if anyone's going to do it, I don't think they would let Nikola Jokic do that. I'm just saying. The first player I want to look at is none other than who I think is the safest option, as a commenter put, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. I feel like every single season Giannis has an MVP caliber season, like no matter what, and I feel like it's been like that for the past 3 to 4 years. I mean, if it wasn't for voter fatigue, I feel like he'd be winning the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year very consistently, because he's just that damn good of a player. I mean, statistically, if we look, he had a slightly better season than last year, so it's very telling that Giannis is only getting better. In fact, if you look at his previous seasons, you could say last year was statistically his best season, which is impressive because it seems like every single season is his best season. The only flaw against Giannis having a chance to win the MVP is probably just voter fatigue, and that off chance he does have a bad season, which I don't see happening. I feel like voters are pretty sick of voting for Giannis to be the MVP, which, like we've said, is a constant thing. Unless this man averages like 35 points per game and a triple-double on top of that, plus the Bucks have like the best record, I just don't see any way the voters actually vote for Giannis. Next up, let's talk about Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic at such a young age has only gotten better. In fact, if we look at his Euro basketball highlights, which he just got done playing in that tournament over there, he looks amazing. Oh yeah, and he's not like in shape and really skinny, and it seems like his conditioning and overall his play style has just gotten better, so yeah, this could be a very good year for him. Also, there's no more Jalen Brunson, so it seems like Luka's going to be a lot more ball dominant, as if he already wasn't. On top of the addition of JaVale McGee and Christian Wood, I think he's going to be very good in the pick and roll game. Mind you, Luka Doncic is already a really good playmaker and scorer as it is. You're just giving him more weapons at this point. Even if the Mavericks are kind of in the middle when it comes to the playoffs, I still think he has a very good chance to actually win. I had to watch this man decimate my favorite team for 7 straight games, so I can confidently say that this man is going to have an amazing year. Now, Luka is not only young, but has never really been in the MVP conversation. Maybe last year, but it wasn't as popular as guys like Embiid and Curry for a while, and of course Jokic. Luka, in my opinion, is going to be having his best season this upcoming season, so honestly, I really see him winning the award. I mean, besides the last guy that I'm gonna talk about, I really don't see another player that could pass him. I think him and the last guy are 1 and 2, and they're very interchangeable. And look, even if Luka Doncic doesn't win the MVP, like I said earlier, I think he's going to have his best season that he's ever had in the NBA. One of the things about winning the MVP is you have to be very consistent, which is why it almost seems like Steph Curry won't win an MVP for a while, even though he's better than most of the players that actually do win MVP. And for Luka, I think he's very consistent as a player, so I don't see that really being a problem. I think the biggest flaw against his case to win the MVP was just the Mavs, because they weren't a top seed, they were like right in the middle, I believe. And with this upcoming season, I think I can say that I think the Mavs will be a top 3 team in the West. In fact, I would actually say they're probably going to be exactly number 3, maybe number 4 if like injuries happen. But if if Luka even plays a little bit like the way he did in Euro basketball, then yeah, this guy's gonna win MVP. Now, the third person on this list, I wasn't sure who to go with. I was in a two-way tie between Jason Tatum and Joel Embiid, and both of them, the one problem is consistency. With Joel Embiid, it seems like he's always having an MVP season, however, he gets injured at the wrong time. The first year when Jokic won it, I think a lot of us assumed he was going to win the award, however, he got injured and Jokic did not stop, so Jokic was going to win it. And unfortunately, I can't tell whether or not Embiid is going to stay healthy this year, so that's my problem with him. And with Jason Tatum, my problem is he's not consistent as a player. Don't get me wrong, I love Jason Tatum. He's one of my favorite players to watch. However, there were many times in the finals, the playoffs, even the regular season when Jaylen Brown overtook Tatum. There were moments where Jason Tatum looked like the second coming of Kobe Bryant. Nah, I know it's gonna piss people off, but seriously, there were moments where he looked very good and then moments where it looked like this man has never played basketball in his life. If Jason Tatum can play at a high level very consistently, then yes, I think he can win MVP, or at the bare minimum be an actual candidate. But like with Embiid, I don't know if he can be consistent. You know what? Instead of 4 players, we'll go with 5 and I'll have Embiid and Tatum right here. I'm already talking about Tatum, so I might as well go with him to start off. Like I said, Jason Tatum has shown flashes of being a very good player who can play at an MVP level, and if he can do that, I think he'll win the award. There's no doubt about it, and I think he could honestly have the Celtics be the best team in the West. I think Tatum is pissed that he lost in the finals because it actually seemed like this was a team that could hang with the Warriors, and everyone and their grandma came for Tatum when he didn't show up in the finals. I think he wants to prove people wrong and show that he is a great player, and when someone with Mamba mentality gets mad, it's not a good look for the other team. Now, this isn't me saying Tatum has it, but I think this season will be able to determine it. If Tatum can be the consistent #1 player for the Celtics, then I think he's going to be maybe a top 3 candidate, but if he's just the #2 to Jaylen Brown like he's played before, then no. I feel like I keep recycling the point of Tatum can't be consistent, but I feel like it's very much true and his one flaw. I also think it's something that doesn't really get talked about a lot. Joel Embiid, I'm going to keep short and sweet. Joel Embiid is just like Giannis, where he's always playing at a high level. However, Embiid always gets injured. And unfortunately for him, it's always at the wrong time. Injuries are one of the hardest things to predict, and I really wish they weren't a thing, but unfortunately, that's just a part of sports. So I'm not going to tell you guys that I think Embiid can win the award if he can't stay healthy, but if he stays healthy, then like a lot of these players, I think he has a real legitimate shot at winning the award. And the final player I want to talk about is none other than Devin Booker. Last year, I was the biggest person when it came to campaigning, get it, Devin Booker to win the MVP award, and everyone was like, oh, you're crazy, that's not gonna happen, you're just a Suns fan. But then as the season went on, more people were saying, yo, Booker for MVP, Booker for MVP. Trust me, I'm not gonna let you guys forget I was the first person to say that. Mind you, I also backed it up. It wasn't me just being a Suns fan, it was me realizing, why is no one talking about Devin Booker and the season he was having? The Suns came off a very disappointing loss to the Dallas Mavericks, and a lot of people are not even considering them finals contenders anymore. Just like Tatum, I think Booker is pissed off. So many people are writing the Suns off right now, including him, and saying he's not clutch. In fact, I would go as far to say Booker is one of the most disrespected players in the NBA, and this is something I've been saying for a while. I mentioned earlier I had the Mavericks coming in at the top 3 when it came to the Western Conference, and I actually have the Suns coming #2 with the Warriors #1. And honestly, I believe 1, 2, and 3 will all be very interchangeable, and the gap between them will not be that far away. But the point I'm trying to make is that Devin Booker, I think, is setting himself up for a very good year. The Suns really didn't lose much. Yeah, they didn't get KD, which a lot of people thought they would. And besides losing JaVale McGee, your team actually did get slightly better. And especially with Sarver being gone for this year, I think honestly Booker and the Suns are going to try to prove a point that they don't need him to win a title. Last year, people were asking if Booker could even be in the conversation at all, but this year, I think he will be the conversation. A lot of people can to attest this if you were around my channel around November of last year. But I was one of the first, if not the first YouTuber that wasn't a Suns YouTuber to actually talk about the Suns very consistently. Because not only was NBA YouTube not talking about them, but the media wasn't talking about them, and they weren't getting any love despite being the #1 seed for a majority of the year. And 1 year later, as they're still being disrespected to a point, they're at least being talked about, so it's not the same problem as last year. In fact, Devin Booker as a player, a lot of people in the media are actually very high on him. So if he can have a really good year like I think he can, then he has a real shot at winning the award. Alright, those were my 5 players on who I think can win the NBA MVP. Now let's ask the question, who's going to win the MVP? Before I do answer that, if you guys are enjoying this video, leave a like on it and also subscribe to the channel. It lets me know that you guys do enjoy the content I'm making. I'm gonna go number 5 through 1, so yeah, I'm not gonna waste your time. Let's just do this. At number 5, I have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let me be clear, I think Giannis is better than every single one of these players by a wide margin. But one of the biggest reasons for this is because of voter fatigue. It is literally just that. This might seem like a shock, but I'm telling you, if it wasn't for voter fatigue, Giannis would be one. I'd have him winning MVP damn near every single season. I just want to say that. Number 4, I have Jason Tatum. I don't think he'd be consistent enough. I think he's gonna have a great year, but I don't think voters are gonna be able to look at Tatum and say, this is the MVP. And if I'm being honest, if we go off last year, around the end half of the season, Jaylen Brown seemed like the better player. So if anyone was gonna be on the list, I should have put Brown. But you know what, Jason Tatum, prove me wrong. At number 3, I have Joel Embiid. At number 3, I have Joel Embiid. I think he has a very good shot at winning it, but unfortunately, like Tatum, it's consistency. That's my issue. Also, I don't know if James Harden is going to overshadow how Joel Embiid plays this year. As far as I'm concerned, last year, it really wasn't like that, but we're in a new full season, so we gotta see how this plays out. Again, I'm probably gonna have to reiterate this and fight for my life in the comment section. Just because I have these next 2 players above these players doesn't mean I actually think they're better. This is just who I think has the best chance at winning the MVP award. I'm probably gonna have to say that a million times, but here's your disclaimer. If I get any of those comments, I'm literally just putting a timestamp to this part in the video. At number 2, which is very interchangeable with number 1, and I might honestly be flipping throughout the year, I have Devin Booker. Originally, I had Booker at 1, but I'm not gonna lie, I think Luka's gonna have a better year. Even if the Suns are a higher seed and the Suns are overall a better team, I think Luka's going to get a lot more love from the actual MVP voters. And again, Booker can have a by far better season than Luka, and a lot of people are gonna say, haha, you got proven wrong, even though I want Booker to do better. I'm not gonna lie, this is a really hard decision. I did actually think about these 2 for a good 10 minutes. My verdict is that Devin Booker and Luka will be right there with each other, and it's gonna be a very close race. And of course, at number 1, we have me. No, I'm just playing. It's Luka Doncic. I think Luka is probably going to have statistically the best season he's ever had. In fact, I think he'll have the best year when it comes to anyone on this list. If the Mavs can have a good season and Luka can play well and he stays healthy, I think he has the slight edge over Devin Booker when it comes to winning the award. In the comment section, I want you guys to tell me who you think is going to win the MVP. And again, this is literally just my list that I'm coming up with a month before the season starts. I'm very curious to see in about 5 months how this list is going to look. If you guys did like this video, there is a video on the screen right now that I think you will enjoy.